Oh, she's gonna hate me. Say hello to everybody. She's gonna say hello. Piaja, look. Look. Okay, she's not having it. My baby. Anyway, first of all, hi, let me introduce myself. My name is Nicole. I'm from the UK. I was raised in the UK but born in Zimbabwe, so don't expect my accent to be like, all right darling, you know. No, we're not going to be doing that. You're going to be hearing a little bit of that, you're going to be hearing a little bit of that, so let's just get over that. I don't have a, do they call it a pure British accent? No. Yeah. So anyway, this whole video is just to kind of introduce myself and finally answer the questions that people have like sent me over the past 5 years. So for those that don't know, I currently live in China, and I have been living in China for the past 5 years, and a lot of people are confused as to what am I doing here, like how my life is in China. And when I have time I do answer, but I haven't really, you know, taken time to actually answer these questions. Okay, so the first question is, what is one thing you wish you would have brought with you to China when you left home? So I currently live in Shanghai, and I didn't live in Shanghai for my first year. I actually lived in a small city, but really it's a village. Relatively speaking, it's a city in China, but it's a village, and it just wasn't as developed. So, you know, I'm thinking I'm coming to China, they're gonna have weave, they're gonna have braiding hair, they're gonna have all these things. I was not prepared about how much stuff they didn't have that we usually have in the West. I wish I would have brought some hair extensions because at some point I ended up having to go to buy some wool and actually braiding my hair. Because, you know, of course there is hair in China, but to buy the hair you have to use this Chinese app, and at that time I didn't speak any Chinese, I didn't read any Chinese, so yeah, it was a whole mess. So I wish I brought some braiding hair with me. I wish I would have brought some tampons, because it's not a common thing here to, like, you know, easy buy, especially in that small village. They didn't have like tampons. So a little bit personal, and also seasoning. I wish I would have brought weave or braiding hair, seasoning, because the seasoning here is completely different, like completely different, and some, you know, sanitary products that I like to use. So second question is, how has it been moving to another country where you don't fluently speak the language? Okay, so one thing that I need to let you guys know is that China is still a developing country. That's why there is a huge market for English teachers in China, because I think at the time 90% of the population, and you know China's population is huge, 90% of the population does not speak English. So it's not like flying to Spain, it's not like flying here or there, they just do not speak English. So I was not prepared. I mean, to the point where I would walk in the restaurant, everything would be in Chinese. Some restaurants didn't even have pictures, so I would literally go I chose one restaurant that I thought I could trust, and each day I would go there and I would just point at whatever was on there, and it would be like a surprise meal, to be quite honest. Praying to God that I get something that is at least a little bit decent, and if it's good, I know that next time I can come and get it again. If it's bad, I'm like, okay, I'm not going for number 12 again. Okay, so yeah. Now it's okay because I can speak, I can read, and I can write. Not fluently, but I can definitely get by. I can survive. Okay, all right. 3, what advice would you give your prior self? Whew. Okay, I have to say, I thought about this question, and I would say I probably would have made long-term plans and long-term goals. I feel like I would have achieved a lot more than what I had expected, or what I would have wanted to achieve, because my initial plan was, oh, I'm gonna come here for 1 year. And towards that 1 year, I realized that I didn't have enough of China. I didn't feel like I fulfilled the things that I wanted to fulfill. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna stay for 1 more year. 1 more year, 1 more year. You see, if you make short-term plans, it makes it difficult for you to actually make smart goals, measurable goals, and you end up making like temporary like goals that don't really mean nothing. Right now, I know that, and I've stopped lying to myself, and I've just said, Nicole, this is the best place for you to be at the moment, so you better make long-term goals and use that time. So the next one is, what was the hardest part about moving abroad? The hardest part, it was the uncertainty, and of course leaving your family. Just going into, that was my first time traveling alone to a different country, and just like now I've graduated, I have to grow up, and I'm gonna be living in my own place, paying my own bills. That was the realization of moving and leaving family, and actually realizing that I was by myself. That was the hardest part. And when I actually came to the little small village, I was like I think I probably cried after 3 days. I was like, oh, what have I done? So just the thought of just, you gotta grow up now, Nicole. Okay, so how have your expectations of moving abroad compared to the reality of it? Yeah, especially with China, my expectations were nowhere near the reality of things. Like I said, the language, you had to, how was I gonna get by? I couldn't go from A to B. And also, I love Chinese food in the UK. You have the chicken balls, the chicken chow mein. Yeah, forget that, they don't have the chicken chow mein here. You cannot get chicken fried noodles. They'll look at you like, what is that? Chicken balls, what is that? Fortune cookie, what is that? So China, the whole idea of China or Chinese in the West is just not what you get here. So yeah, my expectations were nowhere near. It was a big shock, huge culture shock actually. What has been your lowest low? Okay. When I first came to China, I was teaching English, but I hadn't been teaching English all the time. Let me tell you something, teaching English here is an absolutely amazing and self-rewarding job. Just financially, you can be very, very stable. It was great, but I stopped teaching because I had other goals that I wanted to pursue, like studying Mandarin, which meant that I had to save up a lot and prepare to be a student here in China, pay my bills. I wasn't working full time, all those things. And also just transitioning from from teaching and being a student to actually working in the corporate world here, and realizing that there was a huge financial difference from being a teacher and actually working in the business world here. So I did go through a little bit of a financial shock, because I had been living a very comfortable life as a teacher. So, and question whether you made the right decisions and all these things, yeah, I would say that would have been my lowest of low. Just career transition and just figuring out which direction to go. Yeah. Okay, so what has been the biggest lesson that you've learned? Okay, being open-minded. I have learned to be more open-minded and actually understand that I shouldn't box myself. I can achieve a lot more if I just allow myself. For example, if you had told me 5 years ago, Nicole, you will learn to speak Mandarin, I'll be like, what are you talking about? So yeah, that's the biggest lesson that I've learned, that if I put my mind to it, I can do it. What is your favorite part about China? I have to say, as a young person, um, the amount of okay, first of all, transportation here is this is just random, but like transportation here is so efficient and it's affordable. You know, it's in a very affordable country. Shanghai is relatively expensive compared to the other parts of China, but you know, as a young person, as a person in your young 20s, you know, trying to navigate your way through life, I have to say you have many opportunities here, more than you would have in the UK. You know, to get a certain salary, you don't have to, you know, spend years in a job. You can actually work your way up much quicker in China, as an expat. So that's my favorite thing. Is like things that are impossible back home or seem impossible are possible here. It's just a land of opportunities, honestly. Like I am just so happy to, and honored to have had the opportunity to live here. Okay, what do you do exactly? Okay. So let me just give you a timeline of what I've done. I actually, this year has been a year of redirection for me to come back into teaching and realize that actually this is my calling. So I graduated from De Montfort University. I majored in psychology. So when I moved to China, I started off as a high school teacher. So I was teaching high school students. It's not COVID. Oh my God, where's my tea? Actually, I had my tea all along. Okay, I'm back. It's not COVID, I promise. So when I first came to China, I was a high school teacher. So I taught senior 1 and senior 2, and so that was my first job, and that was in Anhui in Tongling. And then I moved to Shanghai and I continued being a high school teacher at one of the high schools downtown. And then I decided, oh, you know what, teaching high school is great, but I want to see, like, it really fascinated me how Chinese students went from learning Chinese to English. It was like, it's just so amazing, and I have so much respect. I think most of my inspiration came from my students, because they were just like amazing, and they inspired me a lot and pushed me to like put myself, you know, out of my box, you know, push my boundaries a little bit. Then I went on to being a kindergarten teacher. Whew, that was the hardest job I've ever had in my life, but at the same time it was really really self-rewarding job, just seeing how much those like children achieved. Then I decided actually I would like to invest some time in learning Mandarin. So I studied Mandarin for about a year at one of the universities in Shanghai, Shanghai Gongcheng Jishu Daxue, Science and Technology University. I studied Mandarin. And then from then, I was very lucky to find a job through one of my close friends, Paige. Yes, as a sales consultant for like a dental company. And then I moved on to SEO marketing for like a language school. So I was like in charge of the like, you know, SEO marketing. If you don't know what it is, it's just like search engine optimization. It was a good experience, but you know, I felt like there was like, you know, I missed something. And you know, that was teaching. Because I was doing like tutoring on the side as well, private. I had my own student private tutoring. That's when I decided, you know what, like, let me stop like pushing this urge away. Let me just go back and do what I'm good at. And to be honest, I have to say, like, I feel I'm a good teacher. I've been told that I'm a good teacher, and I love it. You know, I feel very comfortable doing it. So yeah, I went on and now I'm teaching. I'm teaching. So a lot of people have asked me, okay, how did you go from teaching to, you know, working in sales, working in marketing? It is very difficult. But if you would like a video on that, I can, like, you know, I can do a separate video for it. So anyway, so what advice would you give someone planning to live abroad, I would say do it. If you have the feeling, oh, there she goes. It's my cat again. If you literally have the feeling or the slightest urge to want to move abroad and work abroad, I would say do it, because not many, that is a brave thought to even pass through your mind. And it's such an enriching experience, and I think everybody in their 20s or young age or as a teenager, you should experience living in a country outside of your home country, because you become a completely different person, and that's not even in a bad way, that is in a good way. And oh no, sniffer cat. Yes. Hello. It's Piocha. She's not impressed. But yes, so I would definitely say do it. Do your research. There are many, and regardless of whichever country that you want to move to, there are many bloggers, expat travelers that document their experiences living in those countries. So definitely do your research and do it. How long do you plan to stay in China? So 5 years ago I was saying 1 year. No. Now that COVID has happened, my plans have completely changed. I would say at least 2 years minimum. 2 years minimum, or 3 years minimum even, because a lot of things have been put into perspective during this COVID period, and I have a lot of projects that I do want to accomplish before I do my whatever move I'm making next. Am I going back to the UK? I don't know, so really the possibilities are endless. So maybe minimum 2 to 3 years, but I'm still here. It seems like the best place to be right now with this whole COVID thing. I know a lot of people are mad, but this country has got things under control, relatively speaking, compared to other countries in the world. So yes, it's safer here, a lot of opportunities. And yeah, how is it being black in China? So I've had this question a lot. Whew, let me just say that a lot of Chinese people have never seen black people, especially like in my small little village where I lived. They had not seen I was probably the first black person they had seen. And when I was there, literally I went out one time. First day I arrived, I was like, oh, let me just explore my new neighborhood. I went out and everybody was staring at me, sly photos here and there. I was just like taken aback because I didn't expect it. So I literally didn't leave my house for about 3 days straight. I went and did shopping and I was like, I'm not leaving this place. I'm not. And then, after speaking to my other foreign expat friends and they're telling me that they also have the same experience, I was like, okay, I see. It's nothing to do with okay, so I would say it's ignorance. There's not a lot of education for about these sort of things, about different races and sort of, it's still this country just opened up very recently. Have I experienced racism? I would say I have experienced what do you call it when you're not stereotyped, when you're targeted. I don't know how to put it. I don't know. I'm not answering this well, but being a black person, people will be fascinated about your skin, but not in a way where it's like, oh, look at her. It's just they've never seen somebody that looks like you before. And little kids will be like, hey Ren, calm down, which is look, it's a black person. It's very rude, but they don't mean it in a horrible way. And yeah, I honestly, I've had bad experiences. but like nothing that has made me feel like I want to leave this country, because it's just people that are just like stupid, which you get everywhere, you know, as like a person of color, unfortunately, but you just have to move past it. And yeah, I hope I really answered all these questions properly for you guys. This video has gone much longer than what I had anticipated, but yes, thank you. Bye.